This is the Football Show. Let's focus on the race for the top four. We've spoken about Manchester United. Let's talk about the other teams in the hunt. Let's start with fourth placed Newcastle. Eddie Howe described their defeat at Villa as the worst of the season. So you watched them struggle at times against Brentford. This one, was that even worse?
Yeah, I think Newcastle and Eddie Howe have been absolutely brilliant this season. I think they've set the bar so high. And I just think that level against Aston Villa was below the bar that they've set. Against Brentford, they were poor in the first half, but then managed to turn it around with the substitutions. I just thought, we can praise Aston Villa, I thought they were excellent, but I just thought Newcastle were just below that, well, just that level that we expect from them now, but I fully think that they'll bounce back from it.
Yeah, we spoke about Villa having confidence, momentum, call it what you will. So how did Newcastle get themselves firing again? What do they need to do here?
Well, I think the big thing with Newcastle is that we've seen them respond before, and we've seen them come back and go on great runs. Maybe it's a change of personnel just to freshen things up. I know he tried that at the weekend with Anthony Gordon, but like me and Sue are huge fans of Isak and Wilson. We just think, is it time to let them two play together? And so Callum Wilson goes up front and Isak just plays off him in an advanced midfield role where he can join up, he can link the play, he can also wander beyond Callum Wilson if he needs to. But listen, I'm not going to sit here and judge what Eddie Howe does or what he needs to do, because he's done an incredible job this season. It's still in their hands. They've got tough games. I think that's the one concern you'd have, is that they've got to play Arsenal, they've got to play Manchester City. So they are tough games. But we've seen that they can go toe-to-toe with them on the day. It's about just going back into the changing room and being positive again. These days will happen. We're not quite at that level where we can be consistent for 30, 35 games of a season and have 3 off games. That's not where we're at the moment. We'll get to that, hopefully. But I think he's done an incredible job.
I think they had such a brilliant reaction from that cup final, because
yeah.
we all thought, how are they going to respond to that? They responded brilliantly, picked up some fantastic results and performances. And I think there's been other games where we've watched Newcastle maybe not get the result that they deserve, but it might have been they just missed big opportunities, or, you know, it was fine margins, wasn't it? Whereas I just felt against Aston Villa, they were just below that level that we expect from them. But I totally agree, that could be another option. Could you play a 4-2-3-1 with Isak just behind Wilson, which they did against Brentford in the second half, and it worked and looked strong. So it's another option for Eddie Howe, depending on what system, what players he wants to play. But having those players back fit, I think, is key for him.
So Newcastle comfortably beaten by Aston Villa. This exceptional run under Unai Emery at the moment. You smiling and just... Can they finish top 4?
They can, because of the run that they're on. They obviously need results to go in their favour. But as we've just said then, with Newcastle playing City and Arsenal, they could potentially drop 6 points. Then they're straight in, they're in the mix then. It becomes very close. I think it was a fascinating appointment by Aston Villa. We all, rightly or wrongly, and I think it's completely wrong, put Unai Emery in a bracket of sort of... He was a meme. He was a joke because of the interviews and the way he spoke. So disrespectful. This is a guy who's won 4 Europa League competitions, European Cups. Phenomenal achievement with Sevilla. Absolutely incredible. Gets to a semi-final of the Champions League last year with Villarreal. Took Liverpool to the wire last year in that semi-final in the return leg. This is a guy who's just, I mean, tactically, I think he's brilliant. I think the way he's come in, and he's brought 2 players in, but the ideas he's given the team and the way he's taken them forward, the detail that he goes into, you listen to the players speak and they talk about the fine details he goes through, which makes you a better player. You've got to take it on board. But if you're engaging and you want to learn, and how can you not want to learn off him? How can you not sit there in the changing room and go, how's this guy won 4 European trophies? I want to be part of that. I want the good times to come back to this club and I want to be part of it. You've got to listen. And
I think it is the detail that he goes into with those individual players as well, because you're seeing suddenly, aren't you, like development in Mings,
Konsa.
McGinn, Konsa. Ollie Watkins is he's on fire, isn't he? He just can't stop scoring. And it's little things when you listen to Ollie Watkins talk, and he says, well, I'm more efficient with my running. I'm getting in the right positions now. I'm not scrapping with centre halves. I'm making the right sort of movements. Yeah. And they're just little finer details that he's given them on and off the field in training sessions, classroom sessions, that have just taken Aston Villa to that next level. You can see that they're so well organised. They all know their roles on the pitch, don't they? Yeah. And they're playing with a huge confidence.
Yeah, you mentioned Newcastle's fixtures. As for Villa, they have Manchester United, Tottenham, Liverpool and Brighton to play. So teams around them. I know you are half full, so let's look at it from the half full perspective, Sue, rather than the half empty. They can take points off rivals around them. That's the way you've got to look at it if you want to get there, isn't it?
And I think that's the way that he'll look at it as well. I think the fact that he's taken them from a side that were in and around the relegation or could have been, he sets targets, doesn't he? Right, can we get into the top half of the table? OK, can we then get into Europe? And it's little targets like that. They've gone and beat Newcastle, who were really in form, a side that are in and around them. They've done that, they've done it convincingly. So they'll look at that as an opportunity of taking points off those sides as well.
Remember, went toe-to-toe with Arsenal at home, and but for a very fortunate goal from Jorginho where it comes back off the head of Martinez. They dominated that game. Yeah. They made Arsenal look, not average, but they went toe-to-toe with them, and it looked like they look an outstanding team at the moment. Yeah. So they'll be confident going into all those games that they can get results.